No, it's not you. It's just, I don't know.
All right, prospecting.
Okay.
Infinity spends $100 million a year prospecting through their advertising.
Okay.
Infinity of Gwinnett spends probably $1 million a year through their advertising.
Do they?
They each have a business to run,
Okay.
but you have a business to run as well. You are in charge of Miss Sarah and Associates. And actually, your business makes Infinity of Gwinnett and Infinity both run. So my question is, how much time and effort do you spend prospecting?
Do I spend prospecting?
Yes.
Not much, to be honest.
Okay, well, I appreciate being honest. Why don't you prospect, for heaven's sakes?
I mean, if I'm talking with my friends or whatever and they looking for the car, of course I'm gonna tell them what we have.
Well, yes, that's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not doing my own marketing or, putting myself out there.
Why?
I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm not a big on social media, as
Okay.
you already know.
Okay, well, let's forget social media, because there's other ways to do this. And the best way to do it is through your clientele. Okay? And I'm not talking about asking for referrals in your traditional manner. Asking for referrals is highly ineffective, and there's a mathematical reason for that. And there's a relationship reason for that as well. If I come in and I buy a car from you the first time, I don't know you, but I come in, I meet you, we have a good time, and I buy a car from you. Okay? Well, the reason I came here was because probably of your location, your advertising, and your pricing. And basically, you didn't screw it up. All right? There is no real relationship there, but you did a good enough job for me to buy a car. What are your chances of getting a referral out of me at delivery?
If I did a good job, a huge chance.
No, there's a 5% chance.
Okay.
Okay, and here's why. I said it's mathematical. There's 6 million people in Metro Atlanta. What percentage of them are in the market for a car or a truck, new or used, today?
A lot of them. I don't know exact number, but probably 50%.
5%.
Oh, 5%? Okay.
Now that's 300,000 people,
Okay.
but only 5%. And by the way, in Los Angeles, only 5% of the people are in the market for a car. Chicago, 5%. Houston, 5%. New York, 5%. That's just the way it works. That's why advertising is such an inexact science. So if you ask me for a referral, A, it'll be annoying because I don't know you that well. And B, I probably don't know anybody. Okay? Referrals come from relationships. Now, again, you did a good enough job that I bought a car from you. But now the relationship starts. How many times will I hear from you over the next 3 years if I buy a car from you today?
You're gonna hear from me quite often.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, every birthday.
Okay,
Once
so
you purchase a
so
car,
that's 3 times over a year, over 3 years.
when you first purchase car, of course, I'm calling to follow up.
That's because the factory requires it.
Yeah, and when 18 months, we have that. After 18 months, we have a setup that we have to follow up.
So I wouldn't hear from you after
2
that, after the
years.
initial call for. So during the first 18 months, I'd hear from you right off the bat.
Well, first 18 months, you're gonna hear from me 1, 2, maybe 4 times.
Okay, that's a disaster.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they don't like to be bugged.
Okay, like who? Name me one person that doesn't want to be bugged.
A lot of those people that they never pick up the phone.
Oh, so great point.
So how we overcome that? Because there's a lot of customer,
Oh,
like you
don't
said.
worry, I've got an answer for you, okay?
I know, so tell me.
All right. Name all the different ways we communicate with the customer.
Phone, text,
Phone,
email.
text, email. Is that it?
Yeah.
No. How about in person?
After I purchase the car, unless they're here in the
Oh,
service.
maybe in the service department.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I do that. I always check which one of my customers are in service,
Okay,
and I
good.
make sure I find them.
Good, good. You could send me a video if you wanted to, but you don't, do you?
What do you mean video?
A video. Hey, Steve, this is Nasira. Just checking on you. Hope your car's doing great. If not, give me a that type of thing, right?
Okay.
But what's the most frequent way we communicate with customers after the sale?
Probably email. No?
Voice message.
Okay.
Because let's face it, if you make 100 outbound phone calls, you're going to get voice message, what, 80 to 90% of the time?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to tell you a story which you've heard before,
Okay.
but it hasn't sunk in yet.
Okay.
About the salesman I met 5 or 6 years ago, selling 57 cars a month.
And he have his associates, okay.
Well, he had a couple. He had 2 people working for him.
Uh-huh.
The dealer used him to train new salespeople. But how often did he correspond with his customers? Every month.
Okay.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That would be such a pain. Who would want to hear from a car salesman every single month? Then what a pest. You're thinking that, aren't you? Exactly what I thought, too. First of all, when he told me he contacted all of his customers every month, I said, that's impossible. You can't do that. I said, you can't possibly talk to all your customers because I don't talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you I contact.
You leave them a voicemail.
Well, he sent a text. If you bought a car from him, you'd get a text, a phone call, an email. Text, phone call, email. He rotates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But it's the quality of the text, quality of the email, and quality of the voice message, or quality of the message if you answer the phone. And the message sounded like this. Nasira, this is Steve from Infinity of Gwinnett. No need to call me back unless
I remember that.
Yeah, no need to call me back unless there's something I can do for you. And if you were in the business that could use referrals, I would say, and by the way, Nasira, remember you're in the car business, and if you ever, and I told you I'd send you referrals, anyone ever looking for whatever you sell, I'm going to send them to you. So he became a vessel to provide referrals to his customers. And here was the method behind his madness. He said, look, Steve, asking people for referrals at delivery is stupid. Mm-hmm. He goes, number one, it's rude and annoying. Number two, chances are they have no idea that anybody's looking for a car. Same thing when you call them. When you call them, it should be all about the customer. In fact, it should always be all about the customer. Because if it is, sometime over the next 6 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, they're going to be in a position at work, on the golf course, socially, dinner, party, church, whatever. Someone's going to say they're shopping for a car. And if you're the only, if I'm, in his words, he said, if I'm the only salesperson that customer knows, there's a good chance they're going to send them to me. He goes, I've never asked for a referral and I never will. I said, do you get referrals? He goes, I sell 57 cars a month. I get a ton of referrals. You can't sell that many cars without referrals and repeat business. Mm-hmm. He said, I want to make sure my customer never forgets who I am. I want to become a lot of people's favorite car salesperson. And that's what he's done.
Okay.
Doesn't cost him a penny.
Just the time too.
Yeah, the emails are pre-done. The emails read just like the voice message does. Mm-hmm. Hey, Nasira, this is Steve from Infinity of Gwinnett. No need to email me back unless there's something I can do for you. I said, what if the customer doesn't have a business that that can use referrals or doesn't have a job, he goes, then I'll offer to set service appointments. I'll say, hey Nasir, this is Steve from Infinity of Gwinnett. I know your car is coming up for service soon. If you want me to, I'll set the appointment. If you want me to, I'll meet you back there. Okay? Just let me know. Otherwise, if there's nothing I can do for you, have a great day. This is Steve from Infinity of Gwinnett.
That's what you said about follow-up call. I remember when I first started working, you were talking about that. And I
Yes.
use that a lot.
And?
I leave a voicemail, and a lot of time every time customers here buying from me car, I always make sure to let them know, now that you purchase, you know, enjoy your vehicle, but if you need anything, just let me know. I'm your to-go person. Maybe some things I'll be able to help you, but if I'm not, maybe I can direct you in a...
That's a great message, Nasir. You just need to keep reminding them of it, because
And a lot of them, we would never do that, but you need to check with them.
right.
But a lot of time, my customers will email me or call me, hey, my first service appointment coming up. When can can you make an appointment?
Right,
for me?
good.
And I do that all the time.
Good.
All the time. So that's the one way of me trying to be engaged with them.
Well, look,
But I do remember that.
you've got a decent base of business here. You got a pretty good sized clientele. How long have you been here?
7 years.
Okay, you've got hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of customers. Don't let them forget who you are. And here's a terrible statistic. Only 10% of the people that buy a car remember their salesperson's name a year later. Okay, that's because salespeople aren't very good at follow-up. Okay? All right. How effective are traditional requests for referrals? And the answer is not very.
Okay.
Fill it in. Not very effective. When someone buys a car from you the first time, just put it's because of the dealership usually. I mean, obviously you're an important part, but the dealership's the one that brings them in. When do you build a relationship with your customer?
Hold on.
Okay. Just put the dealership.
I'm blank. When do you build a relationship with your customer?
After the sale. After the sale.
After the sale.
After the sale.
Oh, okay.
How do you build a relationship? Follow up. Extraordinary follow up.
Okay.
Name me the most frequent ways people can communicate with the customer.
Voicemail,
Voicemail, text,
email,
email,
you said video,
video, in person, phone,
and voicemail, phone. Okay.
social media. But you don't do social media. Why don't you do social media?
I've never been. I think social media is ripping us off of, enjoying life in person and actually.
Well, I think
and you have to agree with that.
Well, no, I absolutely agree. But you're in charge of that.
I know.
Like, I am a Class D celebrity. I'm recognized all over the country.
I'm weird like that a little bit. When it first came social media, I got onto it because everybody was onto it, but I
Right.
was never engaged.
Well, I stay
And
engaged.
as you can see, I don't know if you pay attention, I never tag myself, I'm here and there. It's
No.
nobody's business where I am.
No, well, I don't do that either. I mean,
You're just doing it for business purposes.
I do it strictly for business purposes. Okay? Social media gets people like me in trouble because I'm so politically angry.
But do you post that? Anything
No, not anymore.
publicly?
No, it got me fired.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it got me fired. Now they turned around and put me on contract, but somebody in my company complained that I was a racist. I'm married to a woman of color, okay? I'm like the opposite of a racist. But my YouTube channel has made me quasi-famous. I mean, again, Class D celebrity, not Class A, B, or C. But I strictly use it for business now. Okay, I don't post anything other than business stuff. I mean, I'll wish somebody happy birthday. Okay, that's it. Okay, next page.
That's ridiculous. I have a few customers on my Facebook, and especially for the 2020 election, I was so tempted to put stuff, and I'm like, I can't.
No, you can't. No, you're right. All right, the first line up there, what percentage of the people in any given market are actively shopping is 5%. Follow up, how many times would you contact me over the next 4 years? For you, it would have been about 6, which would have been awful. Social media, forget it. How well do you do prospecting in the service department?
In a service department?
Yeah.
I mean, if I start chatting, probably not enough.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate that. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. If you do you know when your customers are going to be here?
Let us know. Every
Yeah.
time.
So you know Benson, he's been in the business for what, a year and a half. None of his customers are ready to trade. Okay, but you've got customers who would be ready to trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I always check first thing in the morning, because over the time, if I cannot remember. So I have to check, and then
That's good. Well, that's smart on your part.
I'm.
All right, and I'm assuming everybody you know and do business with knows what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, any questions about prospecting? Can you do better?
I mean, now that you give me information, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's always fun to hang out with you. And here is something for you to read and use with your customers.
Mm-hmm.
It's an article that comes from CNBC about used car prices. They're high and they're going to go high.
I think I read that.
Okay, well, it's for you.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
And they're talking about it's gonna go higher, and how manufacturers